I see
Can
it.
you see it? Okay, perfect. So welcome everyone to our Geek Talk. Today we'll be having our cohort 24. We have two amazing projects that are going to be presented, and we have two amazing speakers. A little bit about us. For Geeks Academy was founded in 2015, and it was about 2 years later that we developed our standard of coding academies. And we are a result of more than 6 years of experience. And now we have campuses all over the world. We have in Spain, in Venezuela, in Chile, in Latin America, and obviously in the US. We have about 2,000 graduates according to last month numbers. And all of our students have an increase in their salary of about 22%, and 86% of our students get a job within the first 90 days after finishing our program. We have different memberships that you will be able to gain once you become part of the academy. We have our Geek Pal, which is the mentorship program. We have our Geek Force, which is a career support. And what we're doing today, our Geek Talk, which is a pitch day where students present their final project presentations. We are known as one of the best coding bootcamps in the world. We have been awarded quality syllabus and are licensed by the Florida Department of Education, and we were named top 10 coding school by Newsweek. We have a 4.8 in all our reviews, and last year we were named one of the top 30 bootcamps in the world. These are the companies that hire students. Some of them recently we have added National Geographic, Facebook, Microsoft, and other important companies. And our partners, Inter-American Development Bank, Miami-Dade College, and much more. Today, as I told you, we have two great speakers. The first one is Frankie Lopez. He's actually an alumni of our Geeks Academy, and he now has a job as a web developer at Creative Core. And our second speaker is Gabriela Parra, who is a technical project manager at Olive. And then we will have our two projects. The first one will be Next Visit by Michael Martinez and Nate Archer. And the second one, Plotters by Pedro Cisternas and Antonia Netserova. I don't know if I said that right, sorry. But yeah, we're so happy that you're here. And now I want to leave a little minutes for Gabriela and Frankie to introduce themselves before we start the Q&A. So guys, go ahead.
Would you like to go first, Gabriela?
Sure, I'll go first. Hey guys, my name is Gabriela. You can call me Gabby too, that's fine. Like Anna was saying, I am a project manager at a company that's named Olive AI. We do healthcare, and if you're curious about what the company does, I can talk about that more later. I also graduated from a bootcamp, and I worked as a software engineer for some time, and then I switched over to the current role that I have.
Amazing, thank you.
Well, myself, I'm Frankie. I started this one, I just graduated from the bootcamp not long ago, in April. I was a previous student from Geeks. And, well, the best thing I can say right now, it's like, it works, you know, because you can look that I just graduated in April, and right now I'm actually working. My first job as a web developer, for me, that's amazing. I'm from Venezuela, and I make the switch from being a server on a restaurant to a professional career, per se. So, yeah, it's really good. I'm excited to see the progress.
Great, that's amazing. Now I'm gonna give the mic to Colby Taylor. He is our newest program manager at Miami, and he's gonna be the one moderating the Q&A. So go ahead, Colby. We're glad to have you on board.
Thank you. Good to see everybody here. So we have some questions just to get an idea of how it's been for you as a developer, especially during this crazy time of COVID. So we wanted to get your thoughts and see what would you tell upcoming students who are graduating what the situation is currently like, and what's the job market like right
Well, for me, that I just that I'm very recent on this, and to be honest, I would say it's easier in the sense that there is a lot of places are looking for remote. So it's not like before that you always had to be there because you had to be in an office. Now it's like I can like find a job in Texas or another place, and they're gonna find you me just working here. Maybe sometimes they will ask you like, can you go to the office like just a couple of times a month? But it's more flexible than before, so that's a plus.
now? Definitely. Well, thank you for that that insight. And what's your top tip? What are your guys' top tips for people looking to be placed at a new company?
I think I can answer that one. So, like Frankie was saying, right now, I started working years ago, so I can tell you it's definitely changed. So now your options are open. You can work for a company on the West Coast, and I would say, as an engineer, I don't even work as an engineer anymore, and I still get plenty of people reaching out about those opportunities. So when you're looking for a job as a developer, it's on high demand, and I would say more than ever, I've noticed this year that it's open. My biggest tip is to keep your LinkedIn as clean and updated as possible. Use a lot of keywords. LinkedIn is a search engine. All of my jobs, exactly all of my jobs and opportunities I found through LinkedIn, even my first job as a developer when I was graduating from the bootcamp. So keep it updated, be specific about, do your Git commits, show that you're active, even if you haven't gotten that job. Show that you're interested in development besides just being a job. Because I would say that that's what constitutes a good developer. You're interested in doing things that are outside of work. So if you're showing that your GitHub is updated, that you're making your commits, you're describing your projects on LinkedIn, you're using your keywords, I would say that should really help you find an opportunity.
That is some awesome advice for sure. And definitely just to tack on to that too, keeping all of your social accounts clean because employers will definitely be looking. Everybody stalks now. Not everybody admits it, but everybody's stalking now. So definitely want to keep your social clean. So if I could ask you guys, what has it been like in terms of like the workload, and what is like a basic rundown of your day look like, or is it different every day?
Do you want to know my experience as a project manager or the experience that I had as a software engineer?
Up to you. Choose your favorite.
Let me go with the experience as a software engineer because, you guys are graduating to look for those jobs, right? So when I was a junior and I had that first job, I think that I got really lucky in the sense that I was hired by a company that the team, the way that it was structured, it was very supportive. So I had a couple of seniors engineers on the team. I was a junior and there were other two juniors with me. So we did a lot of pair programming. So the day-to-day was pretty much just figuring out tickets. Sometimes I would work on my own. Sometimes I would pair program with another junior. You always get advice if you have a senior around. So I would say that's something to ask when you're getting that job as a junior, because it's important to have someone that can teach you around. So just ask about, okay, so I'm being hired for this team. What's the structure like? Do you have another senior engineer and so on? So I know I'm going out on a tangent there, but I think that's an important question. So yeah, my day-to-day was pretty much just figuring out tickets and solutions every day with the team that I was.
All right, very cool. And I think it's interesting how you're talking about, keeping that communication even through the hiring process and letting people know that you're a good communicator and you're interested in being able to solve in that capacity. And do you have any thoughts on like soft skills or any thoughts on what it was like coming in as a boot camp student, boot camp graduate?
I think personally it was a little intimidating. I don't mean to take all the floor, so Frankie, if you want to interrupt me, please do so. I think at the beginning I felt definitely a bit of a imposter syndrome because you're working with people that have a CS degree that have been doing that for a lot longer than you. But what I realized is that, funny enough, I had a coworker that she was almost done with her CS degree, but she decided to do a boot camp because she noticed that she was going to FIU, that the curriculum at the college, yes, you focus on Java and you have a lot of foundational things that are great to have, and I'm sure that they can help you in the long run. But the practical skills in terms of knowing JavaScript or the skills that people are actually hiring for, she had to look for a bootcamp to teach her that because she wanted to actually get hired before graduating with her CS degree. So you'll notice that, yes, some people will know more than you do, but you just have to ask. Communication, and I can tell you that as a project manager because now I manage engineers and I interview them and all that. Communication really can make a difference when you want to level up as an engineer. If you want to move up as a senior engineer, if you want to be a team lead any day, what's going to make a difference is the way that you communicate your work and not being afraid to ask any questions. So just showing that that you're integrated within the team, it's an important skill.
I mean, yes, I'm completely right with you. And at least for me, I always like to be honest. So whenever I was being hired first, I always look to like places that actually require things that I knew. To not like just try to apply for thing like for everything. And whenever like there was something that I didn't know, I always try to like learn it, And I think that's a really good way to keep your GitHub also updated because they're saying like, oh, he keeps learning. Because at the end of the day, when you're graduating from here, you're actually graduating like not for being a senior developer or like a high-end developer. You're just a junior. So a lot of places they won't look for you to have like all the knowledge, put the basics down. And if there's a lot of keywords, you don't need to know like everything from it, but you can at least learn the basics. Because in the future, whenever you're like getting an interview, they're gonna see like, oh, like in my case, oh, you have this or you have that. It seems that you're, oh, well, this company usually works on this, but this is also really good because we also have like small projects that actually uses technologies and you might be able to help. So always trying like being open and trying to like learn new things, not just get the things you have in this bootcamp, but also trying to learn other things on your way. That's also really helpful.
Yeah, those are some excellent points. And, just to jump on top of that too, the things that you'll learn in this boot camp really prepare you for all kinds of situations and different technologies that we didn't even directly prepare you for. But learning how to learn with this process allows you to basically tackle any situation in the future. So those are some excellent, excellent points. And thank you for that. And what made you want to join a boot camp anyway? What made you want to get involved with this academy?
And to be honest, in my case, I wanted to stop being a server. I'm like this was a job that I had, and I'm very grateful for it. But at some point, like you just get tired of doing things, and it was doing the same thing over and over, and the only thing that changed was the customer. But you always knew what to expect. And when I started the bootcamp, I started like liking it more and more because for me it was like a game. Like there was new things to learn. It was always a puzzle. So it was way more exciting than being a server. And also the pay is better. So for me, it was a win-win situation.
Oh, that's awesome. So you went from being a server to using servers and a full circle. Um, and how do your companies, what is the process of recruitment from employees? Could we get some perspective and some additional ideas on that?
Well, let me start. And then Gabriela's gonna tell you better because she actually interviews people. But for my process with this company I'm working at, it was like really chill in the sense that they texted me like to set up an interview, and then they right straight away set up an interview with the project manager. I talked with the project manager. I was honest with him. I told him like, hey, because I'm working with Angular, not with React. That was what they taught me in the bootcamp. And I told him like, hey, I might not know this technology right now, but if you give me enough time, I would learn this. Because you can see that I know a lot of more. And when he looked through it and saw that I had like a lot more things that I learned, he was like, yeah, I mean, I can see here that you're able to, because you seem to like know a lot of different things. So what I did is just like an interview with him. Then he sent me a test. He told me like, hey, you have to do this and send it before Sunday night. And then it was just me for those that I think it was like 3 days, just coding and doing it the best I could and send it. After like a week, they sent back an answer and said, yeah, they sent an offer. I accepted it and I became paid web developer, and it was pretty awesome.
That's an awesome story. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that.
I would add that in the different experiences that I've had, both as an interviewer and an interviewee, um, when you're looking for a job, and I understand that when you're looking for that first job as an engineer, like once you lock that down, you'll see that within 6 months, you'll start hit up with other offers, because that's how highly demanded development is. So the reason that I'm saying that is because once you lock that first job, even if you're not, if it's not dream situation that you're expecting, later on you can change the way that you're demanding, more pay, or no, I want this benefit or want that, whatever. You can get that later on. You want to make sure though that you feel comfortable in the way that they're interviewing you. So like whiteboarding. So, like when they throw a whiteboard at you and they make you do a coding challenge on the spot, I've never found that to be a comfortable way of doing interviews. I have never gone for any of those jobs that have made me feel uncomfortable, because I think that says something for the culture of how they're going to treat you. For example, working at Amazon is a great job, and I have a couple of friends that have worked there and they hated it. So just try to make sure that you're asking questions about their culture and the things that you're looking for to make sure that it's a job that you want. Maybe be more flexible on that first job, because you want to lock that down. Like once you have that software engineer or developer title, things will get easier. But yeah, just make sure that you're asking the questions that will let you know what you want about the culture of the company or how you're going to grow within the company.
Right. Those are some extremely key points. And on top of that, what do you recommend for people looking for a job in terms of practicing? Do they need to be practicing like 10 hours a day, or what would you suggest to somebody looking for that first job?
As a developer, you have to stay up to date. That's the thing. You need to like development well enough that you're just doing it as a hobby. When that's my personal opinion, and the engineers that I know that are really the best at what they do is because they are happy and content to code every day until 3 a.m. in the morning, and that's just nice. I'm not saying that you have to do that, but I know a lot of people that they just do it because they find it fun. When you're coding, I would say just look into what are the top technologies that companies are hiring for. I would say JavaScript frameworks and with JavaScript and libraries within JavaScript are super popular. But yeah, just show that you're actually learning something new on a daily basis. I don't know in terms of like hours how much you have to be doing, but you need to show that you're able to adapt and learn quick. Because, for example, when I graduated, my stack was Angular, and I never actually coded in Angular in a professional level. I was hired for React and React Native, and I didn't know anything about React or React Native when I started that job. But when you're hired as a junior, they know that they're going to have to nurture you. So that's expected. Like they'll give you time, or well, a good company should give you time to, let you learn and have seniors around that you can ask questions and stuff. So just show interest and demonstrate that you're a quick learner and that you can adapt.
Okay. Also some awesome points. And do you have any ideas in terms of like, when somebody's practicing for a position and to better themselves and learn the latest technologies, do you have any advice to make the most of their time and the best of their learning? Like what to focus on or anything like that?
Well, that's something that she actually covered when she was talking. Yeah, I mean, try to look, and I think that one of the best ways is like when you're looking through jobs, usually there's something that's gonna stand out most than the other things, typically. Like, and you can see like this is what they want the most. For example, I used to see a lot of like for React because I was really interested in learning React. Gatsby sometimes. You can also see Angular. You could also see because it depends. There's actually like such a high demand that a lot of technologies are also asked, but there's some specific ones like React, Angular, or Python as well. I saw a lot of Python devs that for backend that you can learn. And I know, for example, at least the Academy, it's helps you learn Python, so that's really good. But there's also like frameworks for Python and like the Django and others. So you try like to keep learning. You can learn SCSS or SAS. That's something that's really good. And there's a lot of technologies, and it's really and the best thing you can do is like when you're applying, you can see keywords that you don't have, and you can say like, okay, I can start with this or that. And if you feel like, okay, this is too much for me right now, you can just try to look another keyword, and if maybe it's shorter, and you can learn it faster.
And I don't know if you want to talk about Frankie about the little internship that you did after you finished the bootcamp with the academy. I think that's also a great idea to segue. Like
Sure.
while you wait for your interviews and you are already applying to jobs and you need to keep practicing, there is a program that we can that we actually have been trying to implement for a long time, and we started experimenting with them. And Frankie was one of the first people that are that benefited from it. So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when I first was trying to look for jobs, one of the things that was one of my problems it was that I didn't have experience. So I talked with Alejandro, and he told me like, hey, let's do something. I can give you an internship. You can help us out, and I will. That's something you can put on your resume, and it shows a lot. And not only that, but it's also like a great way to learn like new technologies. I was for my project when I presented it, I did the front end, and when I started working with Alejandro, he told me like he needed help on the back end. So I will have to learn like Python, the Django, and it was a new experience. But also like makes you learn, and there's more things you can put on your resume, and not only that, but like it also opens your mind, so it's easier for you to adapt to new things.
Yeah, so basically what we do is that you will apply to a job within an interview that we may offer you, and if you're accepted to that interview, obviously um, we are a lot less rigid than any other company because we are doing it also for the purpose of helping you out with your first job. And we have people that is actually there's a program that we're trying to implement as well that everyone that is already inside the interview should help any newbies in the interview. So it's like you are assigned you will help incoming students that are just graduating to get adapted into the team. And this is a real life team doing real life developments, and you'll be put into a team and you'll start working already. And we're building a lot of tutorials and stuff just to get you set up quickly. So it's the ideal first job. You can think about it like that. And that way you can keep practicing in the meantime, since you are applying to jobs. And it's in technologies that complement your current skills, because we're going to continue growing you in React. You're going to be using Redux. You're going to be using Django for the backend. You're going to be using Gatsby as well, that it's a framework for React. So it's a real life environment. Alexon can also speak about that because he's also in the program. But we're running out of time, but I just wanted to say that there's this program that we're experimenting, and I want you guys to apply after you graduate so that you can start growing already as a real life environment for development. And it's a legit team. It's not like another course, basically.
That sounds amazing. Well, do you guys have any final tips or recommendations for everyone watching today?
Well, yeah, personally, don't get upset, or like if you at first don't get a job the first month, or you get a lot of rejects, you shouldn't feel upset, or like, oh, I can't get a job because of this. No, like always try to better yourself. Just try to look for different ways to improve. Maybe you can improve your LinkedIn, you can improve your GitHub, you can improve your portfolio, or you can apply to the internship and get some experience. But always try to like improve, and I'm sure that at some point it's gonna show, and you're gonna get that opportunity you're looking for. It's something that's bound to happen if you work for it. So don't feel like 2 or 3 or 10 rejections are gonna let you down, because you have to keep going, and then you'll see that a lot of companies you applied before, they're gonna start like texting you, and at some point they're gonna ask you like, hey, are you still up? And you can say like, no, I'm sorry, but I already found it. Or maybe you can find a better opportunity, but you're not gonna find it if you just like lose already and be like, no, I already lost. But you keep going and trying to get that victory.
Excellent advice. Thank you. Gabriela, do you have any closing thoughts?
Honestly, I would say, like I said before, my biggest tip is LinkedIn. I think there are tons of opportunities that you can find there. Don't limit yourself to looking for jobs online and just applying to them. Try to find people within that company, like maybe internal recruiters. You can search a company on LinkedIn and see if they're hiring. You can apply to the position, but then you can just message someone. Be shameless about it, really. The worst thing that can happen is that they don't reply to you, or they tell you, sorry, no, I can help you. And at the end of the day, like, they don't pay your rent, so it doesn't really matter. Keep a clean resume. I would say, be specific about what you've done. Put every single project that you've done, even if it was just something that you did personal, outside of the bootcamp that you just did. So just demonstrate interest, pursue people, obviously in a respectful way, but be shameless about just approaching them and sending that message. Most of the times that's how you get the job, at least in my experience. Because when you just apply to a job, there's 1,000 people that also applied, and your name can very easily get lost. But when you make a personal connection with someone, it's a lot easier for them to notice you. And just show interest. That's really, and keep going at it. Like Frankie said, don't see it as a failure if someone doesn't get back to you about a job after an interview. See it as practice. And you'll see you'll get that job eventually, even if it takes time. And I'm sure it won't even take time. Like, developers are high in demand, so you'll be fine.
All right. Well, Gabriela and Frankie, thank you guys so much. We're really fortunate to have you here tonight and to get all of that awesome feedback and advice. Anna, bring it back to you.
Okay. Now I'm gonna give a couple of minutes to one of our partners. He is Abe Uccello. He works at near.org, and he's going to explain a little bit about his platform and a program he has that can be useful for our students. So Abe, if you want to take a couple minutes.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate the time, and congratulations. You know, this is really exciting to hear about everyone's victories as they're graduating, and then also everyone that's coming in. So it's really wonderful. And I had an opportunity to begin this venture, you know, with 4Geeks, and we're really excited about it. Basically, it's an opportunity that when you complete your coursework here, you have an opportunity to attend a near certification developer certification course at no cost to you. Okay, and that certification course is like 1 to 3 weeks, depending on what your availability is. But essentially, Near protocol is a layer 1 blockchain protocol network, and similar to Ethereum, only no gas fees, very, very negligible gas fees, and actually the only protocol that is carbon neutral and or carbon negative. Okay, so it's got about $1 billion market cap, and actually rather than coding in Solidity, you're actually coding in WebAssembly. And so it's a little bit easier to be able to code for Near as opposed to an Ethereum. So the great news is that this program will give you the ability to take your capstone project that you're graduating with and explore that capstone project as a possibility of what aspects you could actually put on chain through the development of learning how to code your own smart contract, and then deploy that smart contract to the test net. And then, or start with a brand new project that you'll develop through the course of that 1 to 3 weeks. And then by the end of that, in some cases, many students actually get paid for their completion. They get paid to learn to earn, or earn to learn, I should say, and give you the ability to add one more thing to that resume, that shows an actual product that you were able to launch. And, quite a few numbers are actually being employed, that come through the developer certification course and being employed to actually work in blockchain. And so there's many areas within blockchain. There's decentralized finance, there's culture, like gaming, there's where you can design games, there's NFTs, which is digital art, and all the exciting things that are happening there. There is a whole multitude of things that are happening right now, especially also in the carbon space, climate change and these types of things, and all kinds of products that are working to actually help assist humanity. So it's pretty exciting. What I can do is, if it's okay, Anna, I'll go ahead and post the application link in the chat. So you guys have it. It's just a quick type form you can go through. It takes about 3 minutes. And again, you can join that class. They're rolling classes. So you can join it at any time, towards the future, and we would absolutely, and explore Near protocol. You can check it out at near.org. It's about $1 billion market cap on this layer 1 blockchain. So thank you guys so much. And I'll put that in the chat now. But I guess, are there any questions or anything before you do that?
How do you spell Near? I'm trying to find it.
N-E-A-R. And there's the application link, near.training.
Great.
And then also, if Anna, we can talk about it afterwards, to get access to any of the blockchain protocols, you'll want to have a wallet, a little bit of the token from that protocol in your wallet in order to be able to just access different decentralized applications that are on those protocols. So after you make application, we'll receive a notification, and then we can set you up with a red packet that will send you, 5 Near, and thank you for joining. So you'll get your own Near wallet, and you'll have 5 Near in there, okay?
Great. Thank you so much, Abe. I think
Wonderful.
that's
Thank you.
interesting. Projects. I think first we're gonna go with next visit.